Good morning, class 5. Today, after a long weekdays, we'll be doing the lesson The Big Friendly Giant Question Answers. Now, I hope you have remembered the story, and if not, please read the story once again. It is a story. It is a story of fantasy. I told you what is a fantasy story. A story which has unusual and adventurous events, usually involving magic and supernatural elements. So this story is about a father who's narrating story to his brother, to his son, and he gets a very imaginative creature into the story, which is a very interesting creature, and the whole story is revolving around that creature. So now, please read the story once again and then do these quick answers which are given here. Here are some sentences that tell us how the BFG makes dreams. Put them in the right sequence by numbering them. Now, what is BFG? That is Big Friendly Giant. Now, what will be the first thing he did? The BFG goes to houses where children are asleep. First of all, he goes to those houses where children are sleeping. Then he finds a room with a sleeping child. That will be number 2. Then number 3 will be he opens a suitcase and selects a powder. Then he selects a powder. Then he blows in the powder through a blowpipe. And 5th, the children breathe in the powder that floats around the room. So these are 5 various instances, various series, how he blows the powder into the child's room for a good dream and makes the story too interesting. Now after this, the next question is, Danny wants to tell his friends about the BFG, that is Big Friendly Giant. He decides to write down a few points. Fill in the blanks to complete the description. Very tall, 3 times as tall as an ordinary man. Tall enough to reach the window. He was so tall that he could reach the window. And then the next one is very large hands, as large as wheelbarrow. I showed you the wheelbarrow. Then home, lives in an cavern. I showed you the cavern close to the filling station. Usually goes out only when it is dark. Always carry a suitcase and a blow pipe. So these are the fill-ups. You have to fill it up in the book itself. Need not have to do it in the copy, but reference to context, you have to do it in your English class for copy. Question number 3. But he was a marvelous storyteller. He used to make up a bedtime story for me every single night, and the best ones turned out into serials and went on for many nights running. Now describe the way in which Danny's father told stories. Now the answer to this question, how he used to tell stories, the answer to this question is written on page 92, third paragraph. Occasionally, as he told the stories, his father would stride up and down, waving his arms and waggling his fingers. But usually he would sit close to the edge of his bunk bed and speak very softly. So this is the way you have to describe how he used to narrate the stories to Danny. Then, in your own words, describe what a serial is. Why do you think Danny liked the serials the best? Now, what are serials? Serials are the stories which doesn't end. It just goes on and on. One serial, there is always a next story unfolding few facts of the previous story. That means serials, as you see serials in your television, serials are the stories which are very long stories which just goes on and on for so many days. And why did Danny like serials? Because there's always a mystery. There's always something unusual in the next serials coming forward. So he used to like serials more than the stories. He used to like stories which never ends very quickly. He always wanted that story should go on and on for a lot of number of days. Name and describe the character from one of the best serial stories told by Danny's father. Name and describe the character from one of the best serial stories told by Danny's father. The best character is Big Friendly Giant. You have to describe the Big Friendly Giant in this question. Ah, yes, my darling, there is a whole world of sounds around us that we cannot hear because our ears are simply not sensitive enough. List the sounds that BFG could hear. The answer of this question is on the page 93. First paragraph. The BFG said can hear the tread of a ladybird's footsteps as she walked across a leaf. He can hear the whisperings of ants as they scurry around the soil talking to one another. He can hear the sudden shrill cry of a pain a tree gives out when a woodman cuts into it with an axe. So these are the sounds which are heard by the BFG, which an ordinary person cannot hear. How did the BFG store the dreams that he caught? Yes, the answer is he imprisons. Kaid kar lena. Imprisonment means kaid karna. He imprisons them in glass bottles and screws. Uska ढक्कन लगा देता है. Screws the top down tight. This is the way he has imprisoned thousands of dreams into the bottles in his cave. Then, what did the BFG do with the bad dreams? He explodes them. He just explodes them. He just puts them out. He explodes them. Okay. So children, just do question number 1 in the book, 2 in the book. 2 and 3 and 4 you have to do it in your English classwork notebook and submit it by 5 p.m. today. Okay children, stay healthy, stay safe, and just read this lesson properly because I might ask you to narrate the story in the live session.